So today you're going to do the Jayadvani.
Okay.
You can do not the full one.
Not the full one?
Not completely full.
Not completely.
Yeah.
Can I do it? Did I do ISKCON's version?
A what?
ISKCON's version?
No.
No.
You do your version, but not everyone.
Not with everyone.
Yeah. Because it takes too long.
Takes too long.
It's a class
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
All right, do the ISKCON version. We'll see how you do it. I've never heard you do the ISKCON version yet.
Okay. Tyalila Prashna Vishpara Stodra Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govind ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Jagannatha Subhadra Surashan Chakra Jiva ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Dev ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Tulsi Maharani ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Guru Parampara ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. Ityalila Prashna Vishpara Stodra Srimad Bhakti Vidyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Ityalila Prashna Vishpara Stodra Srimad Bhakti Vidyan Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Ityalila Prashna Vishpara Stodra Srimad Bhakti Vidyan Goswami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Ityalila Prashna Vishpara Stodra Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Shri Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanava Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Anant Guru Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Shri Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se Ghosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Arvind Garadha Shri Sri Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Tata Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Amana Devi ki jai. Shri Tulasi Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shrimati Radharani ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mathura Dham ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Nauri Dham ki jai. Shri Samagata Bhakti Vrind ki jai. All glories to the Son of Glories. Hare Shrita Gaur Praman.
Oh, you put this backward.
You see, the footrest has to be facing this one.
Yes. Because otherwise I can't put my feet there. So. Tomorrow's Ekadashi.
Yes.
And the day after that is your program, right?
Program,
Yeah.
yes, at our house.
Has that all been settled?
Yes, it's
All the devotees know about it?
yes, it was posted on the calendar.
Is there some communication plan between them to bring different preps or anything like that?
We were just going to make like one prep for everybody, and then if somebody wants to bring something, it's more than
Right,
welcome.
but that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
if,
but I haven't spoke to the devotees about making preps or
yeah,
anything.
I'm just wondering if that's in the works.
But yeah, I will
Yeah.
have to send some messages and see if somebody
But
wants
did you
to
get
bring
any
something.
responses from the devotees?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's happening.
Yeah.
What time?
So, bhajans will start at 4, and then hopefully you can give class at 5, and then we'll have Artik at 6, and then Prashad.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Jai Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagadhatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kuroti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Trishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Brindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali, at the lotus feet of my most worshipful, beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Asto Tarashata Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali, at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahans Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranams to all of the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. Okay, so we're continuing now with the various items that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing. And just a little bit of a review from yesterday, that there's the last shloka that was quoted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 15, verse 274. This is in relation to the principle that the necessity of possessing a pure heart. This is a principle for the Vaishnavas, that it is very necessary to possess a pure heart. In this shloka, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to a Brahmin devotee. I haven't looked up the reference, but he is mentioning that, O Brahmana, the heart of a Brahmana is naturally pure. By its very nature, a Brahman's heart is supposed to be pure. And then he said, Krishnera bosite e jogyastan hoy, that it is an appropriate place for Krishna to sit. So, is Krishna sitting in everyone's heart?
Yeah.
Krishna himself? Then describe. Use the microphone.
Paramatma is residing in everyone's heart.
Describe Paramatma.
Paramatma, he looks like Lord Vishnu,
Mm-hmm.
with four arms and conch shell bisque, lotus, club, and he resides in everyone's heart.
Mm-hmm.
And he is an incarnation of Kirudaksha Vishnu.
Kirudaksha Vishnu is the third of the Purusha forms. Right? There are three Purushas. They're called the Purushas of the material creation. First Purusha, Vishnu form, is who? Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu.
And then Mahavishnu creates all the universes. Then he expands personally into each universe as Garbho Dakashai Vishnu. Then from Garbho Dakashai Vishnu comes the expansion, the third expansion of Kirodakshai Vishnu, who resides on the ocean of milk, within the universe, on a spiritual planet within the universe. Mm-hmm. That same Kirodakshai Vishnu is continually expanded within every atomic particle and within the heart of every jiva soul. That Paramatma form controls everything that happens in the universe. So when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he makes the statement that Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto. He says, I am situated in everyone's heart. Everyone's heart. And then he says, Matak Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. From me comes all remembrance, smriti, comes all knowledge, jnana, and comes all forgetfulness, apohanam. Krishna has made that statement. No one can remember anything, no one can forget anything, no one can know about anything without him. Paramatma form. So, and Krishna also says in another place in the Bhagavad Gita, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. I am the well-wishing friend of every living entity. Sarvabhutanam means all living entities. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sahaja Nirmala E Brahmana Hridoy. This means that the heart of a Brahmana is naturally pure, nirmala. Nirmala means without any contamination. And then he said, that pure heart of the Brahman, it is the place where Krishnera Bosite means it is an appropriate place for Krishna to sit. So, is this referring to the Paramatma? No. How can it be referring to the Paramatma if there are so many inappropriate places for Paramatma to sit, in the heart of demons, in the heart of any living entity in any condition? So that is the expansion of Vishnu, who is there as Paramatma. But here it is referring to Krishna. Krishna, he is sitting in the heart of his pure devotees, and they are communicating with him, not just with the Vishnu form. So Krishna will not sit in anyone's heart and make his place, his sitting, his resting place there, unless that person's heart is pure. And therefore, this is a very important principle for the devotees, that their heart, they should possess a pure heart. It is very necessary to possess a pure heart. Now, the next section is talking about envy. Envy is a very great fault. It is not a virtue, it is a fault to have envy. So the next section is describing that it is necessary to give up the fault of enviousness. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that it is necessary to give up the tendency to be irritated upon witnessing the advancement of others. What tendency is it important to give up? The tendency to be irritated upon witnessing what?
The success of others?
Yeah, the advancement of others. To not be able to tolerate that someone should have some good fortune happen to them, but not to me. Now here, there's a quotation from the same 15th chapter. Actually, it's the next verse. After this, this verse about the Brahmana having a pure heart. So now this is being quoted. Madhya Lila chapter 15. And Matsarya Chandale Kene Iha Bosaila Parama Pavitra Stan Apavitra Koila. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Jai Jai Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Govinda Jiyo Ki Jai Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakur Jiyo Ki Jai Giriraj Govardhan Jai Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai Nishringa Bhagavan Ki. So now Mahaprabhu is telling to this Brahmin, he's saying Matsarya Chandala Kene Iha Bosailo. Now, Matsarya is the Sanskrit word for envy. Matsarya. Parama Pavitra Stan Apavitra Koila. So he's telling to this Brahmana that, oh, you have made the Chandala, the outcast of envy, sit in this place in your heart. Right? He's comparing envy to a Chandala, an outcast, degraded. And he's giving this example that this Chandala of envy, you have made that Chandala of envy sit in this place in your heart, which is a suitable place for Krishna to sit. But you've made this envy sit there. And by doing so, this very pure place has become contaminated. So, envy is the worst of all the qualities like lust, anger, greed, illusion. Envy is the worst. Why?
Because it includes all the others.
No. It's the worst because all the others can be used in Krishna's service. Anger can be used in Krishna's service. Lust can be used in Krishna's service. And there's a few verses which describe how these different tendencies, which are generally impure tendencies of the material consciousness, lust, anger, greed, illusion, intoxication, and finally envy, called Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. So Matsarya is the last one, the sixth one, envy. But all five of the other ones, they can be used. Narottam Das Thakur wrote in a song how he will use lust to serve Krishna. He will use anger to serve Krishna, and so forth. But envy cannot be used at all. There's no place at all how to use that for Krishna. So, you know that the second shloka of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are three introductory shlokas to the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto, chapter 1, first canto, verse 1, verse 2, and verse 3. They're written by Srila Vyasadeva as introductory shlokas to the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. And the second shloka is telling Dharma projita kaitavo traparamo nirmatsaranam satam. Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadan tapatrayon mulanam. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parayar Ishvara Sadyo Hridi Avarudyate Trakriti Bish Shushushu Bis Tatkshanat. That's the second shloka. So here in that shloka it's telling that Dharma Projita Koitava. That's the first statement in this verse. Srila Vyasadeva is describing what is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What are the topics? What is the main objective? So he's telling there that there is a type of dharma which is referred to here as Koitava Dharma. Prabhupada translates that as cheating religion. Cheating. Koitava. And here, Vyasadeva is telling Dharma projita koitavo traparamo nirmatsaranam satam. He's saying Dharma projita koitava. That means in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which I am now presenting, there is no place for cheating Dharma. What does he mean by Koitava Dharma, cheating Dharma? Because in the various Vedic literatures, there are certain topics that are covered in certain Vedic scriptures, which are referring to karma kanda, fruitive activities, worship of demigods, by which someone can be elevated to heavenly planets, or practice of jnana yoga, and so forth. By philosophical speculation, they can attain mukti, liberation. But why are these referred to as Kaitava Dharma, cheating religion? Why? Because to be cheated, thinking that what you are getting is actual Dharma, is what you should practice, is what you should follow. But in actuality, it does not connect you with the truth, the absolute truth, Sri Krishna. Does not help you to gain your relationship with him. By worshipping demigods, that will not help you. So all these other types of so-called Dharma are simply distractions, and they're decoys. Like a person thinks this is real, but it's not. You see? So they pursue that, and they get cheated. To be cheated, let's examine what it means to be cheated. We've got this human form of life. It didn't come immediately. It came after many, many lifetimes, isn't it? Long, long, long time to get this human form. And that's fortunate. Why? Why is it fortunate to get a human body and not be stuck in the animal kingdom or lower species? Why is it fortunate to get a human body?
We have full consciousness. At least we have the consciousness to attempt, bhakti yoga.
But the lower forms of life don't have consciousness?
Not full.
Not full? We have full consciousness?
According to the explanations from the consciousness levels.
It's not full consciousness.
I think in Jaiva
Just to take birth as a human being is not full consciousness.
elevated consciousness.
Well, it's higher
Yeah.
than the constricted consciousness of the lower species. There's 5 different stages of blossoming, awakening of the consciousness. Just like a flower has different stages of opening. But the point is, and we've heard it many, many times before, that the human form of life is the only chance to regain our eternal relationship with our very source of our existence. There is a system given through the Vedas of reviving our relationship with the absolute truth from whom we've come. We can seek out, we can ask questions, we can get answers, and we can pursue this goal with the human body. But it's not possible in less than human. It's not possible at all. You can even live next to the devotees in a dog body, but you cannot take part in the lectures, in the classes, or anything. You have no capacity at all. No capacity at all. So, the human form is supremely fortunate. It is the great good fortune of the jiva. After traveling in the material world for countless lifetimes, countless, we don't know, millions, billions, we don't know. But we've been here since time immemorial. That's the term used in English. Time immemorial. It's not eternal, but you can practically say it's practically like eternal, because it's so long time. And we've been asleep. That's why that beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. Mahaprabhu is coming to wake up the jivas. And of course, Mahaprabhu, who is the supreme, all-powerful Supreme Lord, he can even wake up the consciousness of the jiva in the animal bodies like he did when he went through the forest of Jarikanda. He can do, but no one else can do. No one else can do that. Only Mahaprabhu. So, the usual course is that the jivas that are traveling and wandering in the material universe, sometimes upper planetary systems, sometimes lower, and suffering life after life, eventually they get a human body. And we don't know how many times already that we've had human bodies, but we can certainly assume that it's been thousands and millions. But we were not fortunate enough to come in contact with the Vedic knowledge. Nevertheless, Krishna is in the heart, as we were discussing, and Padmanabha. And Krishna is also sending his devotees into this world all the time. And the jivas, even in lower species, they're getting the opportunity to get some sukriti, agyata sukriti, not knowing. They get Krishna prasadam, kirtan, whatever. But when one comes to the human form, now is the chance, the opportunity to revive our original Krishna consciousness. So, if someone is not fortunate enough to come in contact with pure Vaishnavas and to take advantage of these instructions in their life, then very possibly they may again have to go back down into the lower species, or they may get another human birth. It depends. It depends. But, so, the consciousness of the jiva can awaken in the human form with the proper association. So that's why Vyasadeva is writing this verse, introductory verse, that now this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the final fruit of all the Vedic literature, final fruit of the tree of the Vedic literature, this Srimad Bhagavatam is not going to propound any cheating dharma at all. Only the absolute truth will be put forward here. And what is this Srimad Bhagavatam? Who is it specifically meant for? He says, Nirmat Saranam Sitam. That's in the first line. Dharma Projita Koitavo Traparamo Nirmat Saranam Sitam. Here the word Nirmat Sara means devoid of envy, without any envy. Nirmatsara. The word matsarya means envy. And nirmatsara means without envy. And satam, nirmatsaranam satam, means the pure devotees. This Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the pure devotees who have no envy of anyone. So it is very essential that this Chandala, or like an outcast person of envy, should not sit in the place in the heart of a devotee which is suitable for Krishna. Because if envy is there, then this very pure place, it becomes contaminated. We have actually witnessed in our life how certain leaders of certain Vaishnava institutions became completely overtaken by envy. And they committed Maha Vaishnava Aparad and became envious against pure Vaishnavas. We have seen it. Yes. So that's why Mahaprabhu is warning that it is very necessary to give up this tendency to be irritated upon witnessing the advancement of others. That's the crux of what it means to be envious. That you cannot tolerate that someone else will benefit and you will not benefit. Right? That's the crux of it. Not being able to tolerate, what is it here? Yes, being irritated upon witnessing the advancement of others. See, devotees are happy when they see others advance. They have no envy. They're very happy to see others advance, even beyond themselves, right? They're happy. They're not envious. So envy is the main thing that causes the jiva to turn away from Krishna. Because we become envious that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mm-hmm. So that's a very, very bad quality for the Vaishnavas, and it has to be completely given up and completely purified. So we're going on now and reading the next point. The next point is the devotees' firm faith in Mahaprabhu. Firm faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here he's quoting from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 16. He's saying, devotees give up all types of dharma and karma for Mahaprabhu. They give it up. Moreover, the Lord cannot tolerate any harm caused to the dharma of his devotees. Prabhu lagi dharma karma chade bhaktagan bhakta dharma hai prabhur nahoy sahan. Yes, prabhur nahoy sahan means Mahaprabhu, he cannot tolerate to see that the devotee's dharma is caused any harm. But the devotees, they are ready to give up all types of dharma and karma for Mahaprabhu. They can give up anything for Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu doesn't like to see their dharma disturbed, harmed. Each one of these quotations I've mentioned before, they're all references from different parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's very interesting to actually go to the verse and read everything in which context, who is Mahaprabhu speaking to, and so forth. So the next fault, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, it is of vital importance to completely give up faults. Now he's quoting from Madhya Lila chapter 20, which is Mahaprabhu's teachings to Srila Sanatana Goswami. And here he's quoting this verse, Se kene rakibe tomar, shesha vishay bhog, rog kandi sad vaidya narake shesha rog. I know what this is. This is when Sanatana Goswami came to Mahaprabhu. Have you ever heard the story of how Sanatana Goswami was put into prison? Right? Because he was not attending to his duties as the prime minister of the Muslim king, right? And then the Muslim king put him in prison. But because Rupa Goswami had left a certain amount, a very large amount of gold coins, and indicated that to Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami had already escaped and left with his brother. So, but Rupa Goswami wrote a letter to Sanatana Goswami, and in a cryptic way, he indicated that you should be able to take this money and give it to the jailer, to bribe the jailer to let you go. And that's actually how Sanatana Goswami escaped. Because at first the jailer was telling to Sanatana Goswami, I'll be killed if I help you to escape. But then Sanatana Goswami placed this huge amount of gold coins and said, I'll give you this. Then he conceded, okay. He conceded. And he went on this journey, escaping. Also Ishan Thakur, who was one of the helpers of Sanatana Goswami, maybe like a personal servant like that, he came along with him. But he kept 3 gold coins. You don't remember what happened? You can tell. Give him the mic.
Did he have 3 coins at once?
Yeah.
And then, he gave the...
They were traveling. And they were escaping. And they came to a certain point where there was a kind of dharmashala, like a hotel.
Yeah, hotel.
And then, what happened?
Well, the innkeeper already knew ahead of time.
How did he know?
How did he know that?
Astrologer.
That's what
He had an astrologer who would tell him how much people are carrying with them. Absolutely accurate. So he made a plan that he was going to kill this Sanatan and the other one to take the 3 gold coins. He knew that there were 3 gold coins. I'm pretty sure the number was 3. It might have been even 5 or 6 or something, but he knew the exact number. And so when Sanatana Goswami was so intelligent that he knew something was up by the way the innkeeper was speaking. And then at that point, he talked with Ishan. And Ishan told, I've kept these coins for the journey, like that. He said, why did you do that? You are inviting death to us. So then he immediately told the innkeeper, yes, I'm giving these gold coins to you. And the innkeeper was very impressed. Oh, yes. And he gave the number. He said, I have this number of gold coins. But then the innkeeper said, no, but I know that you have one more. And then he turned to Ishan. Sanatana Goswami turned to Ishan and said, do you have another? He says, yes, I kept one more just for emergency like this. Oh, give it to him. So all their coins were given. And the innkeeper was so impressed by this that he then gave a special kind of accompaniment to travel through the rest of the area, because it was a bit dangerous. And that's how Sanatana Goswami eventually came to the place in Varanasi where Mahaprabhu was staying. Now, when he came, go ahead.
Actually, the one coin was kept by Ishan.
That's right.
And Sanatana Goswami just told him to take that one coin and go back and go ahead because he wanted to stay.
Maybe.
That's what he sent him home with that one coin.
Okay. I'd have to look at it again to remember.
Because he found out he had one coin left. And Ishan admitted, I still have one coin.
Yes.
So Sanatana Goswami says, take the coin and go home.
They didn't give it to the innkeeper.
No, he kept one.
Okay, I'll look that up just to make sure. Right. I do remember something like that. All right, so when they finally came to meet Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu told to Chandrasekhar Acharya, I think that was whose house they were staying in Varanasi. Okay, he told him. He said, "Oh, a very great sadhu has come. He's sitting outside." Mahaprabhu told, "You should go and invite him in." So then Chandrasekhar went looking, but he came back. He says, "I didn't see any great personality. All I saw was a bearded, looked like a Muslim mendicant, And then he said, "That person, you invite him in." So when Sanatana Goswami came and Mahaprabhu, he fell at Mahaprabhu's feet, and Mahaprabhu lifted him up and embraced him. Yeah, and after that, Mahaprabhu told to his servant, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he told to him, "Go and take him and make him a gentleman. Shave, everything, bath, like that, and give him some simple dress, right? Because he's wearing this Muslim clothing." So that's what he did. And then Sanatana Goswami came back after that, and he presented himself to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was pleased, but Sanatana Goswami noticed that Mahaprabhu kept on glancing at this chadar that he was wearing. And the chadar was a very expensive chadar. The rest of his clothing was simple dhoti and so forth, dress. But Sanatana Goswami could understand that Mahaprabhu was not pleased, that he was, still keeping something opulent. So what did Sanatana Goswami do? You know what he did?
He gave it to someone who was bathing nearby.
Yeah, in the
they
Ghat.
exchanged it.
Is a poor sadhu who had a torn chadar, just an old torn chadar. And Sanatana Goswami approached him with his folded up, very nice, new, opulent chadar. And he said, "Can you give me your chadar in exchange for this?" And that sadhu thought that he was mocking him, making a joke, and Sanatana, no, I'm serious, I want. So then he took the old torn chadar and he went back to Mahaprabhu without the opulent chadar. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. So when he appeared with that chadar, then Mahaprabhu was very pleased. And Mahaprabhu said, this is the quote that Mahaprabhu told to Sanatana Goswami. Se kene rakibe tomar shesh vishay bhog, Roga Kandi Sadvaidya Narake Shesha Rog. So, Mahaprabhu told to Sanatan, Sanatan, why have you kept this insignificant quilt when Krishna has made you renounce all sense objects? A qualified doctor, a really truly qualified doctor, he treats a disease at the very root. And he does not allow even a trace of it to remain. Isn't that true? If he's a real doctor, he's going to cure it fully, right? Especially like Ayurvedic medicine and so forth. They'll fully cure so that it will not return, right? Not even one little trace will remain. So he's comparing Krishna to that doctor, that Krishna wants that you should renounce all sense objects. That's Krishna has arranged all of this for you. He's arranged your whole life in this way now, that you are free. You're no longer captured with this Muslim government and all those responsibilities, and Krishna has fully freed you, and he's brought you here. And now you can live the life of renunciation and become a pure Vaishnava. So why would Krishna want to allow you to have even a tiny little bit of the disease remaining? So that's why Mahaprabhu said, why have you kept this insignificant quilt when Krishna has made you renounce all sense objects? Yes. So that's the story in regards to it is of vital importance to completely give up all faults. Completely. Then, the next section is saying faith, surrender, and non-partisanship are essential. Faith, surrender, and non-partisanship are essential. Yes?
What does that mean?
I knew you were going to ask. Do you know?
What does what mean?
Yes. But
Non-partisanship.
We don't have that today, do we? In the regular
Can you
world.
explain to them what is partisanship?
Partisanship means being partisan to that particular thing.
What does it mean to be partisan?
To be biased for that particular.
Like what? Give an example.
Like in our world today, in our democratic Republican things that's going on in the world, they're partisan for that one particular party over the other. So that's partisan.
Yes.
Being prejudiced.
That
against.
term, partisan politics, is used a lot nowadays in the news. Partisan. Actually, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also addressed that tendency in another book called the Bhagavat, his lecture that he gave. And he said, party spirit is the enemy of truth. Party spirit. We can also kind of use the term sectarianism, that persons are prejudiced or bigoted even with sectarian spirit. So let's see what Mahaprabhu has to say. Faith, surrender, and non-partisanship are essential. So actually he's quoting two verses regarding faith and regarding surrender. And now let's see what he says. Indifference to materiality. Yeah, it's always very interesting how he's quoting this in certain contexts. Okay, he's not really addressing the term non-partisanship. Oh my God, okay. Yeah, no, in fact. So, faith, surrender, and non-partisanship are essential. So he's first of all quoting from Madhya Lila chapter 22, which is also Sanatana Goswami's instructions from Mahaprabhu. He's saying it is very necessary to have faith in the principles of bhakti. So that's this section. Faith, surrender, and non-partisanship are essential. Now he's quoting this verse. That what is the meaning of the word Shraddha? I've quoted this verse in our classes before. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Oh, Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. So this is the definition given of the term Shraddha. What is Shraddha? The meaning of the word Shraddha is to have the firm determination or firm faith that all obligatory activities, karma, are performed simply by performing Krishna Bhakti. That all obligatory activities that you have to do, they are done. They are performed simply by performing Krishna Bhakti. That is called Shraddha. When someone is firmly convinced, firm determination, Vishvas, Sudrida Nishchay, firm faith, that if I perform Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti Koile, Sarva Karma Kritavai, all necessary karmas and activities and duties, they're performed by performing Krishna Bhakti. So that's regarding faith, that it is very necessary to have faith in the principles of bhakti. Do you have faith in the principles of bhakti? I think you do. Everyone who is a devotee has faith in Krishna and in Krishna bhakti. So, but that faith has to become nishtha, firm faith. So, then he's talking about the necessity of surrender. And what is the Sanskrit word for surrender?
Sharanagati?
Yes, sharanagati.
Sharanagati.
Sharanagati. Not sharana, sharanagati. Sharanagati.
Sharanagati.
Yes, there you go. Sharanagati. Okay, so here's the verse also from the same chapter, 22, Madhya Lila. Sharana loya kore Krishne atma samarpan, Krishna tare kore tat kale atma sama. This is a very famous verse. This verse is telling, Mahaprabhu is teaching this to Sanatana Goswami. Mahaprabhu is saying that when a person, then the real question here is when. At the time when a person surrenders at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna by taking shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Guru, then Krishna quickly accepts him as one of his own. Krishna quickly accepts that person as one of his own. So, what will make Krishna quickly accept someone as his very own? Atma-sama means as his own. What is it that a person does that impels Krishna to quickly accept him as one of his own?
When he surrenders unto Sri Guru?
He surrenders at the lotus feet of Krishna by taking shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. This is surrender to Krishna. And Guru is manifestation of Krishna. So, this is the key. This is the key in bhakti and sharanagati. Very necessary to surrender, sharanagati. And the thing is that when a devotee does surrender, Krishna quickly accepts him as one of his own, one of his very own. It's very personal. Krishna's seeing, okay, you're surrendering to my pure devotee, I accept you. Have you been accepted by Krishna? What do you think?
Maybe.
So then it's not possible to take shelter of Krishna, lotus feet, unless you take shelter of the Guru first?
Yes, of course. There's so many places this is stated. Krishna himself even tells to Arjuna, not in the Gita, in another Shastra, Krishna himself is telling Arjuna that one who says he is my devotee, he's not my devotee, but one who says he's the devotee of my devotee, him I accept as my devotee. So this is the eternal principle. That you cannot directly approach Krishna. You have to approach Krishna through his pure devotee. So, and when someone does that with actual Atma Samarpan, this is the term being used here, Sharana Loya Kore Krishna Atma Samarpan, means to self-surrender. You know, this is the term, Atma Nivedanam. This is the meaning, that one fully surrenders himself at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna by taking shelter of Sri Guru. Then Krishna quickly accepts him as one of his own. So, what do you think? Have you been accepted as one of Krishna's own? Huh? She's half hiding.
No, I'm just keeping my head in when I'm especially interested.
Yeah, I know. So, what do you think? Do you think Krishna has accepted you? Are you in that category? Krishna has accepted you as one of his own. Atma Sama. Atma Sama means the same as his own self. Krishna.
If you haven't fully actually surrendered to Guru.
Oh, that was what I was going to say next.
Yeah. Oh
So-
no.
So
like,
you're specifying that it has to be full surrender.
I'm guessing, but it's one thing for Guru to accept the disciple, but is the disciple actually a disciple? Have they actually surrendered? Is it?
So how does it work?
I don't know. Once you really surrender to Guru, then yeah. I don't know. Is it the surrender or is it the acceptance? Is Guru completely accepted
Well, it's
before
both.
you have surrendered completely?
Yeah, here's the thing. When someone takes Diksha, there's another verse. It's not quoted here, but it's also quoted in the same chapter of Mahaprabhu teaching Sanatana Goswami, and he's saying that Diksha Kale, at the time of Diksha. Now, taking Diksha can be quite external in some cases, or it can be real Diksha. Okay? Gurudev has talked about this before, Vidyadrudi Diksha. Vidyavadrudi Diksha. And ordinary Diksha. He says in Kali Yuga, in most cases, it is quite ordinary Diksha, where ceremony is performed. But real, actual Diksha comes when one surrenders and serves Guru, and gradually, like the term Diksha has two syllables, Di and Ksha. And Di is for Divya Gyan. Divya Gyanam tato dadyat kuryat papasya samshayam. This is a definition of the term Diksha. Kuryat papasya samshayam. When all of one's previous sinful reactions have been fully mitigated, the whole cycle of karma. And when Divya Gyanam tato dadyat, when one attains divine knowledge, divya gyan, transcendental knowledge, fully. Now, Diksha means you realize your eternal spiritual form and everything pertaining to your relationship with Krishna. That is the actual meaning of Diksha. Now, what is leading to that is your acceptance in the University of Diksha. That's the way Gurudev explained. That ceremony, Krishna is accepting you because you have now come to that point. But real Diksha may take more than one life, or even a few lifetimes, to attain full Diksha. Okay? But nevertheless, Krishna is accepting because the pure devotee has accepted you. And to the degree to which we will surrender to our spiritual master and follow his instructions with faith and all of these things, that is the degree to which Krishna accepts you. Because he does say that in the Bhagavad Gita, Yayatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajami aham. Prapadya also means surrender. So as a person surrenders to me, as they surrender, yayata mam prapadyate, according to the degree of their surrender to me, then tam stataiva bhajami aham, I reciprocate. So that's why I'm asking, do you think that you've been accepted? And that you've done Sharana, Laya, you've accepted the shelter, surrender at Krishna's lotus feet, Atma Samarpan, that you've done Atma Nivedanam and so forth. And Krishna Tare Kore Tatkale, at that time, Atma Sama. He accepts that devotee as his own. Well, I would say it's provisional. It's provisional, right? It's provisional. That it is not that just because you have taken initiation from Guru and so forth, you have a spiritual name and all of that, that actually you have attained this acceptance, this degree of acceptance. But there is some degree of acceptance even in someone of quite ordinary. Because why? Because Guru has agreed to accept you. And when Guru accepts you, that is a sanction for Krishna to accept you. And that's why in the Gurvastakam prayers, the 8th verse is telling Yasya prasada the Bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasada na kati kutopi. That means by the mercy of Sri Guru, then you get the mercy of Bhagavan, Krishna. And if you don't get the mercy of Guru, Yasya prasada na, that means you're not getting his prasad, his mercy, then it means gati gutopi. Sometimes that's translated as your whereabouts are unknown. Where you are at and like this. You're just wandering. You're just floundering in the material world if Guru's mercy is not coming. So the foremost essential thing is Yasya Prasadad, that you get the mercy of Guru. Guru is automatically very merciful. The whole Gurvastakam is talking about how merciful he is. Just like the rain cloud pouring water on the forest fire, okay? You know, and Guru is very, very extremely merciful. But you have to do something from your side to reciprocate with his mercy. Nothing is free. Everything has to be reciprocal in spiritual life. That I expect that everything will just be given to me on a silver plate and I don't have to do anything. No. We always have to endeavor. We have to endeavor. We have to do bhakti. We have to try to surrender more and more and more and more. That's what Upadeshamrita is telling. That's the whole teaching of Upadeshamrita, you see. So in this way, we're continuing on, hearing so many instructions in this one chapter regarding sadhuvritti, how to actually follow in the footsteps of the pure Vaishnavas and become a sadhu. What will you need to do? All these things are there. So it's lucky that Krishna is very, very patient, that Guru is very, very patient, but they're prodding us nevertheless. And you know what some of those prods are? They come in the form of unpleasant experiences. That if we don't surrender, you ain't gonna be happy, right? To surrender, you become completely happy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written songs about that, yeah.
Are all of these other aspects of these first three verses contained within sadhuvritti? Because if you're actually doing in sadhuvritti, then that means vajravegama, sakradavegam,
Absolutely.
means bhaktivargrasascha, and so on.
That's
so
right.
Sadhuvritti is like the kernel?
Well, yeah, you could say it from that angle, because sadhuvritti means to live according to the principles of bhakti, to do all the limbs of bhakti, sadhuvritti, and to do them in a surrendered mood, with faith, all of this, it's all there. So, yeah, you could say that. That's why it appears that this is the longest section of all the total 12. This is the longest one, because he's basically giving an overview of most of Mahaprabhu's instructions in Madhya Lila, especially, so that you will know what needs to be done, how you need to develop this, how there's a necessity to surrender, how there's a necessity to have a pure heart, how it is necessary to give up envy. These are all the different principles, as according to Mahaprabhu's instructing to his different devotees. Okay, so this is Gauravani. This is the actual Gauravani, the instructions of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Yeah.
Oh, the envy part. Does envy, how do we just give up envy? Did it start at the Tatastha or after? Our
Well,
enviousness of Krishna, did it come at that point or after?
Envy came when we turned away from Krishna. Just like it's saying, I'm trying to remember the verse. Krishna Bahir Mukha. Krishna Bahir Mukha means to turn one's face away from Krishna. Bahir Mukha, you see. So when the jiva turns away from Krishna, then what happens? Immediately, Maya captures. Maya immediately captures. There can never be any moment when the jiva is either under the Yoga Maya or the Mahamaya. There cannot be any time when the jiva is separate. So the jiva cannot be under the Yoga Maya when he has this mood of competition to Krishna as the enjoyer. And the jiva wants to be the enjoyer. So that's the substance of envy, that we cannot tolerate how others are benefiting, that Krishna should be the ultimate beneficiary. Anyway, that's a broad topic. We've exhausted our time limit for this class, and we'll continue tomorrow. Maybe we'll even continue at your house program on Monday. You know, they have a house program. Is everybody going?
I think so. I think we should probably make another announcement at lunch tomorrow just to remind devotees. And
Yeah.
some were asking if we're also having a program in the morning, but I feel like one program is probably
In the morning of what?
on Monday. Because for Monday is for Srila Maharaj.
Oh, Srila
So the
Chitra.
program in the evening will
Thanks for
be-
reminding me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, so
Oh,
we'll
I
have to
think
speak.
one program is probably
Oh yeah, just that program.
yeah. So just an evening program.
There's
So
no
yeah.
way to do their program.
Yeah.
Everybody drive all the way over there and
Yeah.
start at 4 o'clock if we're going to have a morning. It's not possible.
Yeah. So I think we just need to send out another announcement.
Yes, and actually it will be the
Reminder.
celebration of Srila Trivikram Maharaj, now that you're informing me again. Yeah, we'll read some nectar. There's a little booklet that's been published. There's a little booklet, I don't know if we have it here, but we can look online. small booklet that was published telling a lot of the biography of Srila Trivikram Maharaj. Yeah. So, okay, very good. Gaur Premanande. Shri Upadeshamritam ki jai. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Vansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhudeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Can you press